Hello, you just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We're currently tying up phone lines and burning through cell minutes to get you closer to the guys on top of the boxes and over the wall down on pit road. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts, Sammi Jo and Rocko Williams.
Welcome to another edition of MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo.
And I'm Rocko Williams.
And we have some winners in the building.
Yeah, we're winners.
We're on a two trend this week.
Yes, we are.
We have Hunter and Dylan.
Yes, the 2 and the 22 representing well for Penske Racing finished 1 and 2 at the throwback weekend in Darlington and balled out on them. I mean, 1 and 2, that's after 29 races for the 2-car winless streak. You know, the 22, y'all won this year, but to finish 1 and 2, that was a pretty special moment for your team and yourselves, right?
And throwback week.
And it was throwback weekend, and your paint schemes look awesome, you know, so.
it was a big weekend to definitely win and get some momentum for the two team in particular, but just to have 22 finish second, 1-2 for the captain, that was pretty big. 22
is already in the chase with your win earlier this year, so you never go on cruise control, but you know, you knew you were in the chase. But for you guys, well, let me ask you this, because Motorsports Monday, the host of Motorsport Monday is Joey Meyer. You ever heard of that name?
Who's written on our board.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hear him talk a lot on the weekend.
So that was he was excited, I'm sure. What do you know about Joey Meyer?
Oh, let's get the dirt.
Yeah, what do you know about Joey Meyer?
He's a pilot and he's our spotter.
Oh, he's keeping it PC.
He's a man of mystery, but no, he's a great spotter. He's good at his job, and he's a big part of our success on the weekend.
Absolutely. And Logano in your day, I mean, finishing second. Did you see that happening, or how did that progress?
I mean, we had a good car. I mean, we were pretty good on the 10-lap average, but you never know at Darlington. I mean, the tires fall off so bad there. You know, you could just throw out the parachute and go all the way back. But we had a strong car, and we just kept working our way forward, taking bites, and eventually we were there. So it was a good day.
Yeah, and just so y'all know, let me give you a little history on these two guys. These aren't just your average crew members. These are what we call our beast mode pit crew members. Front tire changer. And you just look at the medium shirt my man has on over here. That's an extra large, you know. So as a tire carrier, a long time, I would look at this guy and try to imitate a lot of stuff he did. You know, he did everything so well with his technique and your skill set.
I think I've seen you wear a shirt like that too.
I have.
Wearing a medium.
I have.
Yeah.
So having you on the show here today, man, it's a great honor. We appreciate y'all being here, man, because y'all represent well and you're doing the damn thing out there on pit road. So it's exciting to have y'all here.
I'm glad to
Appreciate
be here.
it. Y'all having
You know, here's the thing, because we went to Darlington and we saw all of the renovations for the fans. How do you think it was packed? What was the fan cheering like when you guys took 1 and 2?
I thought it was a good turnout. I always kind of can tell from, you know, the traffic on pit road and, you know, the one time you get to go to Darlington, it's a old historic racetrack. Other people love to go there, so I thought it was a good turnout.
Yeah. Looked like a good turnout.
Especially with the throwback and stuff. People love to see that, you know, old school NASCAR deal.
Yeah.
And it was funny, you know, when the lightning struck and everybody flooded out of the stands and then came back in, you know, then you got a sense of how many people were actually there. So.
Yeah. Well, you weren't at Darlington.
No, I wasn't at Darlington. I wanted to go to Darlington, but anyways, there was a lot of throwback pit crew members there with the likes of not Shannon Myers, but I mean, there was Mikey Atwell, there was Brad Pickens, Kyle Turner.
I thought you were going to be rocking some throwback gear.
You know, I was there in spirit.
Well,
Sammi.
I was there in spirit too.
You were there in spirit. Where were you at, Sammi?
I was on the other side of the world. I was in Australia. And because, you know, I wanted to keep up with tradition, I didn't have slaw cam, but I had some Sammi cam.
And when you go out of town, you don't have these laid back trips. When you go out of country, Sammi, you end up getting in some craziness.
You know my other profession, which we can't talk about. But I may or may not be a spy. But here's the footage. Check it out. Sammi cam.
Hey crew family, I'm on a secret mission, so I can't tell you much, but I can definitely show you parts of life down under, crew call style.
It's kind of wordy, world adventurer.
World adventurer.
But
It looks like fun, Sammy.
I'll take it.
You always get into
you guys
something
get to
crazy.
travel every weekend, so I figured I'd one-up you for
Our
once.
travel's like in the submarine, though. We see just a little bit out of the window. Airport,
Right.
track back to airport.
It would be cool to race in Australia, though.
Oh, it would.
Could be a long flight.
Man.
We'll do it.
It would be a long flight. I'll talk to NASCAR on your behalf and tell them
go.
that you guys are on board. You may have to pay for your own flight, though. Well, coming up, we have more with Dylan and Hunter, and I guess Rocko, too. We'll have more Crew Call right after this.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-through coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is quick, efficient, and personal. Unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature espresso drinks, classic coffees, custom-flavored infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. With over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
Driver safety is the #1 priority in racing. It's also the #1 priority in trucking. The Detroit Assurance Suite of safety systems helps to protect drivers, their trucks, and other motorists by helping to mitigate the severity of collisions. Active brake assist, adaptive cruise control, and lane departure warning, all bringing a new level of safety and protection to the road. Don't just want better business solutions, demand them. Learn more at demanddetroit.com.
NASCAR Today Midday is your NASCAR source on and off the racetrack throughout the week.
It's so peaceful to get out in nature and just sit in the woods and watch the deer and bird.
Typically on our runs, there's a lot of conversation for 25 or 30 minutes, and then it gets quiet because you're sucking wind. But on the bike, especially at the racetrack and stuff, they're pretty easy rides.
Keep up with your favorite NASCAR stars each weekday on NASCAR Today Midday here on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Thank you for holding. Now back to MRN Crew Call with Rocko and Sammi Jo.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo.
And I'm Rocko Williams, and we're here with 2 phenomenal pit crew members. Very excited to have them on board with Hunter and Dylan from the 2 and the 22 car. And these guys are special and unique in a lot of different ways. You know, we harp on the college athletes that are brought in to the pit crews and coming from collegiate sports, but you guys came a different route. You know, you came a different route.
Well, first, before we get to that, I want to mention what they were saying during the break, which is they were watching Rocko on Undercover Boss.
No, you mean America's Most Wanted, right?
Yeah, it's one and the same.
Undercover Boss. You were what? You were that? Am I that old?
Well, I hadn't
I
even.
see a couple gray hairs.
So
I hadn't even moved up here yet, but I knew that I was.
Okay.
And
moved up from where?
Kansas.
Okay.
I came from middle of nowhere, Kansas.
Okay.
Fowler. It's got 500 people in the town. I graduated with 13
Oh my gosh, that
people.
is such a tiny town.
So small. Everybody knows everybody.
There's more people at the races that you're at than
absolutely.
in your town.
Way bigger. Yeah. So I was like, well, what am I going to have to do when I get out there? And I was watching, and sure enough, you came on Undercover Boss, and I was watching what you were doing, and I was trying to mimic it in my living room, like.
That's so crazy.
How did you get even into the idea that this is what you would do, though?
You know, it was a lot of me being here happened by chance. I actually had a friend that was a NASCAR fan. I wasn't before I moved out here, and he said, you ought to be on a pit crew. And I was like, you're crazy, man, and the longer I thought about it, I was like, man, that does look cool. So sure enough, I packed up and moved out here with nothing. I had a dog and a bag of clothes, not even an apartment to live in. Yeah, right. So I slept on a futon in my apartment for months and months and months until finally Penske hired me. But it was just a.
And what year was that?
That was 2011.
2011. It feels like you were there a lot longer. You said you were hired 2 weeks apart.
We were hired. We went kind of the same thing as Dylan. Growing up small town Louisiana, and never really been around necessarily motorsports as big as NASCAR. Always kind of around the local tracks and whatnot. And Dylan's the same way. You play high school sports, do this, weren't big enough or good enough or whatever to go on in that department. So it's like, what's the next best thing? And I've always seen the pit crew side of it. I've never really took an interest into it, and got a hearing of the pit school here in Mooresville, and went through it, and that's where I met Dylan, and we were there for about 7-8 months.
And that's what I'm talking about, Sammy. They both went to the pit school. The pit school, the percentage for the pit school sending their crew members to the top tier teams is less than 10%, probably less than 5%. And for these guys to come out of the pit school, then to go beast mode coming out of the pit school says wonders. I mean, about their skill set and their talent level. 2 weeks apart, because
we actually went to the same tryout. Like the coach at Penske now, Trent Cherry, actually came to pit. And we were all out there just practicing doing this, and we had no idea who this.
What was the tryout like? Walk me through that day.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I was so nervous. It was pretty much one day we got a phone call, and we're all like, hey, you know, they picked, it was me and Dylan and a couple of other guys. They're like, you know, we want you to come and join the practice with us. And they threw us in with, I believe it was the 2 car at the time. They threw us right into the, you know, the wolf den, you want to call it, whatever. And about 2 weeks later, you know, I'd got a phone call back that said, hey, we want to put you with some developmental guys in this. And they're like, you know, is there anyone else from that group you'd like to bring along? And, you know, I kind of hinted someone, and sure enough, 2 weeks later, they hired Dylan, and we were truck racing that year, I believe, for Brad's truck teams, and it just kind of took off from there. Yeah, we did the last 5 or 6 of that season. So,
how comfortable are you starting out to now? What is now like? How comfortable are you on pit road?
I'm very comfortable now, but when we started out, man, I was terrified.
What was your biggest concern?
You know, I thought about that even before I came up here, and I think when you work in such a tight group, you're concerned about letting everybody else down on the team. It's not really about, you know, me looking bad per se. I'm upset if I make a mistake that I let the other 5, or, you know, in a bigger sense, the 20 guys that we bring to the track or whatever it is, you know, road crew, everybody that's worked so hard, you don't want to let those people down. It's not necessarily about me, it's about them.
Right.
So.
And what about you? How comfortable do you feel today versus day one?
I still get nervous, but I think I put that pressure on myself to, you know, keep us performing at the level we do. But I can still remember, like, first race going over the walls, truck race at Bristol, and we were running like 3rd coming down pit road, and just so many things were going through my head, and it was all kind of a whirlwind. But, you know, now I'm not going to say it's easier, but it's almost second nature, because you get that experience, and I've experienced with Rocko here, because me and him worked together.
Yeah, we did.
On a nationwide team for a little while.
Yeah, we did.
Just that grind of going up to the top tier teams, just getting that experience, I think helps it all.
Because there's such a different experience and mindset working on the teams that you're working with now, when you have the opportunity to win every single week. You can go to the racetrack and you can do well, you can perform well. When you don't have a chance to win, it's not a big deal. But when you're in position to win every single week, it's a different type of stress level there, you know, and you see it play out, especially at a racetrack like Darlington. You're doing over 8-9 stops.
Yeah, I believe we did 9 stops. I believe 22 guys did 10 that night.
Let's talk about the money stop.
well, let's get back to that, because we have video on that. Let's save that for our next segment, because
we're
have
saving
video.
the money for the next one.
We have
I'm okay with that.
I mean,
he's so financially responsible.
The 2 and the 22 are running so well that towards the end of the race, the only thing they were showing on TV were your guys' pit stops, which shows you as well that when you're performing under the spotlight every single week, you have to get your game up, because everybody sees it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that gives you some insight into the type of, that's why I call you beast mode, the type of crew member you have to be when you're working for a Penske, when you're working for a Gibbs at a Hendrick, where, you know, the spotlight is on you all the time, and you're always scrutinized. You know, you always nitpick.
So we thought, let's continue that, put the spotlight on you this week.
Yeah, we are going to do that, because y'all did a lot of great things. You know, in Darlington, you had a lot of stops, you know, and it's just the propensity to make a mistake, especially at those large pit stalls. Remember, Sammy?
Yes.
When we were at Darlington, I called it.
Yeah.
I told you there was going to be a lot of uncontrolled tires. Remember I said that?
Yes.
And there was. And there was just penalties in general, just because you're doing more stops. And the biggest thing I saw was the uncontrolled tires, because of the changer.
But we're going to take a closer look at that in our upcoming segment, because I don't want to interrupt. We want to build that suspense and let you guys.
You're right, Sammy.
Now, I interrupted you before. You were going to say something, and I feel like I interrupted greatness. Are we going to have to wait for that as well?
No, God, you're not in Throne of Greatness with me. God almighty.
So humble.
Come on,
so
claim
humble.
it. Claim it.
That's right. Just own it.
Yeah, just
okay,
own it.
well, we have coming up
We got
Uncontrolled
videos.
Tires,
We have
tons
videos.
of videos and not
Videos.
Australian videos.
And
Darlington
videos.
videos, right?
Yes.
All right. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
It's Rip the Fence. Join two former voices of USAC, Dylan Welch and Tyler Burnett, on a ride like no other.
I can't really tell much stories because I don't want to get anybody in too much trouble.
As the two chat with the faces of traditional open-wheel racing.
I was 4 wheels in the fluff and hot laps, and my dad actually after hot laps says, if you do that again, we're parking it.
Catch up on prior episodes and get ready for the ride with Rip the Fence. Available for free to download on iTunes, SoundCloud, and the podcast app. Or available on MRN.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Tanner, inviting you to the all-new America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. The sound is updated with fresh features and more of the voices you hear at the racetrack each week. The one thing that hasn't changed? It's 2 hours of the hottest hits in country music as we get you ready to go racing. So join us for the brand new edition of America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA, at the same place right here on the Motor Racing Network.
I know, girl, I know. So right before I transferred the call, I heard Brad Kozlowski say that next week he's planning to announce that... hello? Excuse me? Is someone else on this line? Yes, I'll transfer you immediately to Sammi Jo and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo, Francis, hanging out with my favorite co-host.
Sammy, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention I had a surprise for you. You know, I know you're a thrill seeker, you're an adventurer, and I took the liberty upon...
I don't know if I want this surprise. Let me just be honest.
Really quick, I took it upon myself to enroll you to apply on your behalf to the NASCAR Drive for Diversity Driver Combine. Okay.
Oh, thank you
The deadline,
so much.
The deadline is coming up September 7th, and I filled it out for you. I hope the information is correct, but I really feel that you would have a great career as a NASCAR driver. And with the deadline coming up September 7th, I couldn't clear it before, with you first.
Right, because
so I just
was in
signed you
another
up.
country. Yeah,
so
no, I appreciate that.
The Drive for Diversity Combine, I mean, if they select you.
Wait a second. Is this what we went to?
Yes.
Where you almost killed me?
That's the pit crew side of things.
Oh.
You're going to be a driver.
Oh.
This is where Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, the program that they went through to get them. So I just wanted to throw that tidbit in there. September 7th, you can go to NASCAR Drive for Diversity online and sign up. Still apply by September 7th, but I took the liberty to do that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I actually want to announce that I've actually been signed by Penske, so I'm their new driver.
Anyways.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. It's good to have the team on board with me here.
Teammates of Ryan Blaney.
So I said that this was a 2 show because obviously the car's 2 and 22, and then I was born September 2nd. I mean, I just feel like this is a lucky show.
It is a lucky show.
So let's talk about the unlucky
yes.
habits
Anyways,
on pit road.
Uncontrolled tires. I feel like this is happening because, as we've shown in our shows before, that right front tire is the culprit. And y'all would agree with that. When they pull that right front tire off, you have to be within arm's length of the tire. And the 78 was snake bit with it 2 weeks ago. They got snake bit with it again today. And it could be a timing thing. It could be a tire rolling thing. And I think in their case, as it happened in Darlington, the left rear, the right rear was a little bit late. They had a hanger. So a hanger is basically when you hit 5 lug nuts, you pull the tire, it doesn't come off. You have to go back. That throws the timing off. The front changer is expecting that carrier to be there to get the tire, so he leaves it thinking that the carrier is going to be there. He's not there.
In that fraction of a second.
In that fraction of a second. And what can prevent that is, I feel, if the right front tire changer pulls his tire off. And if you show number 2, I have a video of you, Hunter, doing it in a way where I just feel like it prevents that from happening. When you pull your tire off, look where your tire remains. It's right there next to you. And not only that, when you're going, you're taking it back to the wall. You see that?
Yeah, it's a thing we've really harped on, with our coaches and everyone there. It's kind of a safety valve, It's like, even if that carrier's coming right behind you, you just put your hand on, give that little push, carrier's going to take the tire from you. And it's something our coaches have preached is we can't beat ourselves with tire penalties. It's something that we just can't have.
You just can't do it. And look at your Jackman, how he runs around you. What y'all were doing in Darlington this week, you tried something new. In Darlington, you had a new choreography. It was mentioned in the race briefly, but it wasn't elaborated on. They didn't explain it. You show video 1. We'll look at your new choreography and tell me what you think about it, from your perspective, from both of you guys. I don't know if the 22, are y'all doing this as well? So it's across the board. The Jackman is going in front of the front tire changer. And he allows him to post the left side before the changer gets on his knees. So that was a new.
I mean, that seems pretty seamless to me.
Yeah, you see how Hunter takes the tire to the wall, the Jackman goes in front. A lot of teams are doing this prior, but not every team. Y'all made that transition this week. What brought that about?
A number of things. Just looking for a little more consistency as far as on left side drops, and just trying to get the timing of the left side of our rear tire changer Jake and me finishing at the same time, helping our Jackman see his pattern on his wheels, see his peg, get him on his tire faster. That's a tough job. Our Jackman's responsibilities have just been raised so much this year.
Are you keeping it that way?
I think we are as of right now.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak too much about it.
How long did you practice the new choreography before putting it into use?
Last week. I mean, 22 got about a month jump on us, and we had messed with it a little bit, but as far as a full practice, last week, they're like, look, and a lot of it had to do with we had got in on points in the chase, so we're like, let's do it for these next 2 weeks, and if it doesn't work out, we'll go back to what we were doing.
And it's personnel dependent, wouldn't you say?
It's a lot of your strengths and weaknesses on pit road, and they felt a strength of me and Jeremy on the front, our left front, hitting good lugs, hanging a good tire. So anything we can do to help, your Jackman, because like I said, he's jacking the car, hanging a tire, dropping the jack. He has a lot on his plate, and anything we can do to help him out is what we need.
I agree with Hunter. What Hunter says about the Jackman has a lot of responsibility, but I want to also. It's changed a lot because now our tire carriers have a lot of responsibility as well. The new system that's in place now, I call it the beast mode carrier. If you're show number 3, and Dylan, this is you, man. I want to showcase why I'm so impressed with what you do, because you're dropping these tires off with 2 in your hand. You're running around. Look, 1 hand extension, boom. You're running around the Jackman. You're going to the rear. You're indexing the rear. Then you got to run back to the front and bring the tires all the way back to the wall coming around the front of the car. That is a new technique that wasn't done previous, right?
Right, yeah.
What do you think about that? How was that transition, and what was your initial thoughts when you started doing that?
Well, I prided myself before we went to the 5-man stop as a front tire carrier.
Yeah.
So, running out and dropping that tire off where normally I'd go in to set up and then going all the way to the back of the car and hanging that tire. It was an adjustment, and then speaking of adjustments, setting the wrench and different things like that. That was it was new. I had done it before.
And you're a shorter carrier, not harping on your height, but to just put the wrench into that car with your height is a skill set in its own.
I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a long way to go, and it's just when you're running that far with 2 tires in your hand, the possibility, if you play number 4, the possibility of stuff happening.
Yeah.
It's real, as we see
stuff happening.
As we see here. Boom. Has that ever happened to you?
No, but there's a lot that can get crossed up. I mean, you see there, he tripped over the Jackman's feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the timing has to be right, or you've got to drop the tire earlier or farther out and roll it in.
And he recovered very well. I mean, you lost a little time on the right rear, but how he gathers his composure, indexes the tire. And still, I'm not a fan of the rolling the tires back. I'd rather pick them up.
Yeah, sure.
But that's player dependent.
And on top of that, he could have seriously hurt himself.
Ran over.
That's what we go through.
Exactly. There was a car that went by 2 seconds later.
That's the game that we play. We're like real life Frogger.
The game of life and death.
We're running in traffic.
Absolutely.
We're
We
Frogger.
play traffic for a living.
Yeah.
But not everybody can pick those tires up the way you do. Just some have to roll it, but to be able to snatch them up with 2 arms.
Yeah, he makes it look like it's a piece of paper.
Well, that's the schmedium shirt. Is the key. That's the key to it. But
we've got more with these guys coming up. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me and the rest of the MRN crew every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. We'll put a bow on the weekend's action and get you ready for the upcoming race with the biggest names in the sport.
As you look at that particular race, that's been one of our best races over the years, and I think every driver in the garage is looking forward to racing this particular package.
Hear exclusive interviews, expert analysis, as well as stuff you won't hear anywhere else.
Oh yeah, good job, guys. Good job.
It's NASCAR Live this Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-242-1706. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706. That's 800-242-1706. 800-242-1706.
You've reached MRN Crew Call. Please deposit 25 cents to be upgraded to more quality programming. Otherwise, hold for Sammi Jo and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo, hanging out with Rocko and Hunter and Dylan. It's been a really good show, but I didn't want to say anything. I've been gone. I didn't want to harp on it. There's a lot of stuff on the desk.
Well, we have Indy. The Brickyard
yeah.
400 coming up this week. You know, I had to bring in my little trinkets.
Yes.
But these are actual bricks from the Brickyard win. That's a hat. We have pillows here when you kneel
let's
down.
focus on the most important thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Clutch Coffee Bar.
Yes. And our two Clutch Performers of the Week award winners go to
Dun, dun, dun.
Dylan and Hunter from the 2 and the 22 car, and we're gonna make it rain. We're gonna make it rain.
Nice.
You go to Clutch. You go to Clutch Coffee Bar.
My wife will appreciate it.
You can share it with your teammates or not, but whatever you want, it's on us. And Sammy and I
don't know if you've been there, but they have amazing coffee.
My wife will love this. She's in school right now. She's always looking for some extra energy.
Well, that's on you.
She'll
you know,
appreciate it.
if you don't want to give it to your crew members, that's fine. But
absolutely, man.
you know.
But let it be known on the record that we're giving it to the crew.
Give it to who you want. But hey, if you want to share with your crew members, that's on you guys.
We're part of the Miller team. They like another drink.
Okay, I have to ask before we get out of here, what happened to your hand?
It's just kind of an old injury that keeps compounding, and with the new stop that we're doing, it's actually the last stop this past weekend. Reaching the wheel, valve stem dug right in my glove, right into the hand. Well, you just got to keep going. Adrenaline's running so high though. I never felt it until I was on the ride home. So it was like, oh God, my hand hurts, but it's no big deal.
What are our chase expectations? I mean, well, we have the
Besides winning it.
the last regular season race next week. I mean, are you trying to get this race over and then just focus on the chase, or what is your mindset now? As you
Indy's
go into it?
such a big deal.
Yep,
you know,
you
like,
want to win it.
Yeah,
Especially for
absolutely. I've, you know, since I've been in this, every year I'm so jealous of those guys kissing those bricks. You know,
I mean, you can kiss those. It's not going to have the same effect, though.
Yeah, I got my lips. My lips were all
Rocco's
over.
really
Gotta earn it.
What about you? I mean, how is your team prepping you for the chase, or this race and then the chase? How's that process?
It's a little different than years past. In years past, you know, we've had a lot of success on 2 and 22 early and often. And not that we've struggled this year, just haven't quite had the success. And getting a win this close to the chase, it's kind of, we took a deep breath. Okay, we finally got the win.
Momentum.
But in 2 weeks, we need, you know, we got to make sure we don't get too relaxed with the win, you know, or anything. And like Dylan said, Indy's a big deal, not just for everyone, but Roger really wants to win a NASCAR race at Indy, and we know how big it is for our shop and for Penske in general, and if any one of our teams can bring it home for him, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Do we have enough time, 7, to show pit stops?
Let's do it.
I want to show 5, 6, and 7 back to back to back, because this is your last 3 pit stops. And like I say, you guys were the show. You know, between the 22, the 2, and the 42, you guys were the show on pit road.
All right,
and as you're coming in, the 2 is on the top, the 22 is on the bottom. Do y'all remember this? Do you remember this one?
Is this a blur to you?
What is this? What is this, Hunter? What's going on here? Where were you at during the race?
This was our, let's see, 50 to go. So this stop, you know, we're the only cars in the lead lap at this point, and we know we couldn't beat the 42. The 42 car was way ahead on the racetrack, and they were 20 seconds ahead of us coming down pit road. So it was basically, at this point in the race, we're setting up to put ourselves in position for a win. And, you know, I'm really glad we did get our very last pit stop. I don't get too far ahead of your videos, but, you know, our second to last stop, 22 had a really good race. They had a really good stop, second to last stop.
Here's the second to last stop right here.
They actually beat us here on this stop. You know, kudos to them, and the 42, they were nailing on it.
Yep.
And we it just wasn't the cleanest stop. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just average. And we wanted another one. You know, we wanted another yellow, and we got the opportunity on the last stop. And
I'm going to jump forward to the last stop real quick because we're short on time. And, you know, you guys did beat the 42, but a big part of that, y'all had the better stop on time. But at the same time, it's so dependent on how these drivers come on and off pit road. And he did an awesome job, and that's what sets the best apart from the others, is how they get on and how they leave off of pit road. And it would look like a drag race at the end, but you guys did a good job, and your drivers, both of your drivers, were excited about what you did on the money stop. 9 pit stops. You always evaluate every single stop, but you never acknowledge until you mess up. You guys, it's great to see you get acknowledgement for doing well when it counts.
Yeah.
For being our clutch performers of the week. I mean,
that's why y'all clutch. That's why y'all getting that clutch coffee.
That's right. Or
energy drinks or milkshakes.
Maybe getting the clutch coffee. It's not guaranteed because it might be given to somebody's wife. I don't really know. All right. Well, this week, of course, you guys were talking about Indy, but MRN has your coverage of the Truck Series, and that will be the World of Westgate 200 in Vegas on Friday at 8:30 p.m. That coverage will start. Best of luck to you guys. I hope that I can see one of you.
I hope your teeth are gritty.
We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call next week.
The best that ever do it. The best out there.